Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So this is the last part of our Grignard reagent. So we're going to look when we react our Grignard reagent with CO2 on page 12. Okay, so number 5, the reagent is CO2 and H2OH plus. The product is carboxylic acid, which is C double bond O and OH. Okay, so what happened here is that our reagent carbon dioxide, actually we have two carbon double bond O. One of it we're going to maintain the C double bond O. Another one is we're going to change the C double bond O to COH. So let's look here. Our reactant, we have C double bond O kita, we have two. So okay, which one yang maintain, which one yang going to change? So let's look if we do a quick mechanism here. Okay, so kita ada buat partial positive, partial negative kan. Okay, but then if we do the curly arrow, so as we can see the C double bond O ni is there's no change, the maintain saja. So that's why lah we can maintain one of our C double bond O and another one akan undergo some changes. Okay, so let's look here. So CO ni dah accept electron, so jadi O minus. Okay, so again bila C double bond O ni break, we're going to form one single bond with our carbon from our Grignard reagent, which is CH2CH3. Okay, don't forget we do have our MgCl plus here, so MgCl plus. So this is the first reaction with carbon dioxide. So but then it's not complete yet. We're going to react it with H2O in H plus. Okay, so what would happen? Again, remember H2O daripada H plus dengan OH minus. So the O minus will partner dengan O minus H plus. So another part akan jadi MgOHCl. So this is actually our carboxylic acid. Pada the same carbon ada double bond O, ada OH. Kalau contohnya if you want to rearrange ni sama sahajalah. So it's the same. Okay, again we have to have C double bond O. One of it we're going to maintain, one of it kini maintain, lagi satu kita akan change to OH. Okay, so example B, I think you could do yourself. So let's look for question C. Okay, again C double bond O ni kita akan maintainkan dia. Okay, and then O yang ni akan jadi O minus MgCl plus. Okay, this carbon will be bonded to our yang ni betulkan the MgCl, yang ni pun jadi MgBr. Okay, dia akan bonded to our cyclohexane. Okay, tapi pada cyclohexane ni if we label it, actually carbon number 2 yang ada substituent. Okay, we have our methyl. So this is not yet our carboxylic acid. We're gonna undergo acidic workup. So dapatlah jadi OH. Okay, so this is actually our carboxylic acid COOH. Okay, question D, you could try yourself. Okay, so now we're going to look for the example on page 12. So if we look back at our learning outcome here, we have to determine the structural formula of alkane, alcohol and carboxylic acid prepared using Grignard reagent. So let's look. Let's discuss this question. So for this example from page 10 until page 12 itself, for example, we have our Grignard reagent and we have our carbonyl ataupun we have our carboxylic acid. So we have to determine the structure of alcohol ataupun carboxylic acid kita. But this time around, for a given alcohol, we should know what is actually our reactant. Okay, so let's look here. So first and foremost adalah you have to know that determine the class of alcohol dulu. Okay, why? Because we know that from here we can determine actually what is our carbonyl. Sebab kalau methanol, we're going to form primary alcohol. Kalau aldehyde, we're going to form secondary alcohol, and ketone, we're going to form tertiary alcohol. So that's why we have to determine the class of OH. So sebenarnya kita boleh buat terbalik. Macam itulah. Okay. So let's look here example E. Okay, for example A, let's look pada carbon OH bond kita. Okay, so when we count, we only has 2 bond. But actually carbon boleh 4 bond kan. So another 2 bond is actually bonded to hydrogen. But then when we look, this carbon is bonded to only one carbon, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. We have butyl ni. So but then it is actually primary alcohols but only bonded to one alkyl group. Okay, now how to determine the possible pair. So I'm going to break the bond dengan the neighboring carbon. So I'm going to draw the bond break ni. Okay, but then I'm going to color this one purple lah. Okay, as we can see here, we have 4 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we count back. 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon. Okay, and then another one, what is left, kita ada carbon OH bond. Okay, make sure the carbon is correct. Okay, how to determine the possible pair carbon compound? We know primary alcohol originally from methanol. So what is actually methanol? Methanol adalah C double bond O, body guide dia, both of it is hydrogen. Okay, previously we have learned kalau C double bond O akan jadi COH kan. Kalau for this type of question, kita akan buat terbalik pula. Kalau kita nampak COH tu, we're going to change it to C double bond O. So here we have COH kan. So what we're going to do, we're going to change it to double bond O and akan bonded to 2 hydrogen. Sebab this is actually kalau dia expanded. So double bond O, OH akan jadi double bond O. Okay, so primary alcohol from methanol. Okay, so this actually our methanol lah. Tapi how about our Grignard reagent? So Grignard reagent tu mestilah ada MgBr. Tu we're gonna add to another partner jiran dia ni. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Pada carbon number 4 adanya kita punya MgBr. So this is actually the possible pair kalau untuk to form our primary alcohol. Okay, so how we're going to answer this? We're going to break the bond with the neighboring carbon with OH. Okay, kita count ada berapa carbon. Sini ada 4, so we draw the 4 carbon and bonded to our Grignard reagent. Yang COH jadi double bond O. Okay, so that's for primary alcohol. Okay, so now let's look for question B. First and foremost, what we're going to do adalah determine the class of OH. So COH kat sini, dia bonded to 2 carbon. So bila bonded 2 carbon, dia adalah our secondary alcohol. Okay, so what I'm going to do adalah I'm going to color the neighboring carbon tu with a different color so that you can see it clearly. So on my left here I have pink carbon, here I have my red carbon. Okay, so next we're going to break the bond. So for example, kalau break the bond with the pink ni kan, so I have 1, 2 carbon here. Okay, and then we know kita akan bondedkan dia dengan MgCl. Okay, this is for this part. Okay, how about the other one. Okay, so the other one ni, remember COH tu akan jadi C double bond O. So what I'm gonna do adalah I'm just gonna redraw it again. Okay, cuma yang OH ni later what I'm gonna do, OH ni akan change it to double bond O. Okay, so this is actually the possible one, the first possibility. Okay, kalau break pink, primary alcohol memang ada satu saja possibility sebab satu sahaja jiran carbon dia. But for secondary alcohol ada 2 jiran. So if we have 2 neighbours, so ada 2 possibility lah. Okay, so second possibility, if I use the red one, so here I'm going to break the bond. So what is left? Okay, ni adalah CH3 kan. So CH3 ni kalau kita buat skeletal tak boleh. Jadi dot je. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the expanded version, condensed version. So this is actually my Grignard reagent. So what is left sekarang ni adalah all of this. So semua ni kita akan draw balik. So I'm going to redraw it 1, 2, 3. Lepas tu OH tu akan jadi OH tu again we're going to change it from COH jadi C double bond O. So padamlah H tambah double bond O. Okay, so this is the second possibility ataupun second possible pair. Kalau methanol memang possibility dia ada 1 pair je. Kalau aldehyde ada 2 pair sebab ada 2 jiran dia, ada 2 neighboring carbon. Kalau ketone ada 3 possible pair. So first and foremost kena determine the class of alcohol dululah. Okay, so nanti kita break the bond. Okay, next let's look for question. F ni tertiary alcohol, tapi tak nak lah, to try yourself. So kita tengok question C. So question C, first and foremost, okay, tengok dulu dia bonded tu berapa carbon. So dia bonded tu 2 carbon. So bila dia bonded to 2 carbon, maksud dia ada 2 possibility. Okay, I'm gonna write down lah kat tepi ni. This is actually our secondary alcohol. So secondary alcohol, what we have, maknanya kita boleh 2 possibility lah. Okay, so first one, if I break this bond, okay, so apa yang tinggal is this carbon will be bonded to MgCl ataupun MgBr pun boleh. So the rest of it, we're just going to draw it again. Tapi OH tu, what will happen adalah carbon OH tu akan jadi C double bond O. Okay, so ini adalah the first possibility if we break the bond with the red carbon. Second possibility, if we break the bond dengan apa ni nama dia? Dengan the pink carbon. Okay, so here we have our ethyl 1, 2. Okay, lepas tu dia bonded to our MgCl. MgBr pun boleh. Either way it's fine. So another partner dia adalah the rest of it lah, the rest of the compound, which is ada kita punya ekor ikan ni. Okay, so yang OH tu akan form double bond O. Okay, so there's 2 possibility. Okay, remember actually you have to determine the class of alcohol. Senang, so that you know what is the how many possible pair there is. So kalau secondary, maknanya there are 2 possible answer lah, and then it's from our aldehyde. Okay, remember ada satu carbon hydrogen is not shown here. Okay, so question D, E and F, I believe you could try it yourself.